Hi guys, it's Yodo and I want to welcome you to the first episode of Let's Design with Yodo. Today's episode is tagged The Beginner's Guide to Product Design, and by that I want to walk you through the basic processes of what it is to be a product designer, what exactly do product designers do, who are product designers. I believe that a good understanding of this is going to help you in your design learning journey. Come with me. Now let's start from the genesis. What exactly is product design? Product design is the process of ideating, developing and refining products that solve user problems and meet specific market needs. It is basically coming up with ideas to make products and to make products better, thereby making users' lives easier. But what are products? Products are basically anything and everything, from your car to your smartphone to your smartwatch to your door, basically anything. Product design extends to everything we can see, everything we can relate to. But for the sake of this course, we'll be focusing majorly on digital product design. So henceforth, when I mention product design, I actually mean digital product design. And what are digital products? When I say digital products, I'll be streamlining them to websites, web apps, and mobile apps that we interact with on a daily basis and we use to achieve specific tasks, whether at home, at work, or anywhere at all. I'll be citing a few examples. Your smartwatch is a physical product that has digital products running on it. Say the camera app, the fitness app, these are apps, digital products that run on your physical product. Now another good example is the television. It has video and music streaming apps like YouTube, Netflix and Spotify. These are digital products that run on your physical product. Now that we know what products are, we can now better appreciate what product design is. Going back to our definition of ideating, developing and refining products that meet specific market needs and solve users' problems. A product designer sees a problem and moves to provide solution to those problems. Now let me give an example of myself wanting to buy something from Amazon.com. I'd most definitely want to visit their website, and from there I'm going to make an order. The entire process of me making an order, adding products to cart, adding my card and making payment. This entire process is designed by a product designer. The experience that you have from beginning to the end of your shopping process, that is the job of a product designer. Now I know I'm mentioning a product designer, but in most companies and in most cases there are usually more than one or two product designers, and as such we would call them a product design team. Now let's talk about other terms that are closely associated with product design. I'm sure you must have heard of UI and UX design. UI means user interface, while UX means user experience. A user interface designer designs what you see in the product. It designs the buttons, designs the web pages, the search bar, and every other thing that you get to interact with in the product. A user experience designer, on the other hand, designs your experience while using the product. How easy it is for you to carry out tasks and achieve everything you set out to achieve when using a product is determined by the UX designer. Now both of these roles are very important because the user interface majorly brings you on board, but what keeps you on board is the user experience. Whether or not you come back to use a product is heavily determined by how good or bad your experience was in using the product the first time. So if you enjoyed it, you would most likely come back than if you didn't. Nowadays, there is more specialization in the field and a bit more clear-cut differences in these roles. Some designers focus more on user experience, while some focus more on user interface. A product designer focuses on both user experience and user interface design, and also adds the business perspective to it. In any business, there are stakeholders, and the aim of the stakeholders is usually to make more money, reduce overhead costs, or reduce physical contact, depends on the kind of product it is. A product designer makes sure that both the user achieves their goal and the business stakeholders also are happy. User gets the product to do what they want to do, and the stakeholders get to achieve the business aim. Now let's talk about design thinking. My simple definition of design thinking is your one-stop process to come up with solutions to users' problems. Now these are stages that you go through to ensure that the product meets the product requirements for its users. There are 5 stages in the design thinking process. We have the empathize stage, the define phase, the ideation stage, the prototype stage, and the test stage. Now let's pick them one after the other. Empathize. Now this means finding out what your users' problems actually are. This involves putting yourself in the user's shoes and feeling what they are feeling, basically empathizing with the users. Now this involves a lot of research in getting to know more about your users and understanding their pain points. If their pain points are properly understood, it will be easier to find a solution that will resonate better with them. Now let's talk about the define phase. Now this is where you list out your findings from what you came up with understanding more about your users. In this stage, you are able to come up with a problem statement. A problem statement is a list of the problems that the user wants addressed or solved by your product. Now this helps you to stay on track in identifying the major problems. Now to the ideation phase. This is where you come up with solutions to your users' problems. One thing you need to understand here is that there are no good or bad ideas. Every idea is one. This is where you do a lot of brainstorming with your team. Now, prototype phase. This is where you come up with the best possible solution to your problem and draw a skeletal sample of what your product is actually supposed to look like. You come up with what you call a prototype. Now to the last phase, which is called the test phase. This is where you try out your prototype to see if it actually solves users' problems and users' needs. This can lead you back to ideating and reiterating your prototype. And this can go on and on and on until the product is an actual market fit. This is why the design thinking process is called a non-linear process. Now, what are the tools we use as a product designer? Now, there are several tools in the world that are used by designers. But as a beginner, I would like to focus mostly on the design process. That's the design tools that you use. For me, I use Figma, but a lot of other people use Sketch. Why do I use Figma? Because most of the teams that work with use Figma. Now, there's not much difference between Figma and Sketch. Both of them, the principles that apply on Figma in design also apply on Sketch. You can use them interchangeably depending on the team that you're working on. So it doesn't really matter as long as you understand the principles of one, you'll be able to apply them to the other. For the course of working on this channel, we're using Figma majorly, and you'll get familiar with it as you go on this channel. By the way, if you have not subscribed yet, I think this is the time for you to hit the subscribe button now and hit the notification bell to ensure that you don't miss out on any of the amazing content from this channel. Now is the time for us to talk about the pay as a product designer. An average of $80,000 to $100,000 per year is paid for product design, which I would say is not a bad deal. Like I said, average. You're probably going to be less or a bit higher than that as an entry-level designer. But it goes up pretty quick as you rack up experience and grow in it. And that will be all for today's episode. But before you go, let me give you a rundown of the most important points that we touched on today. Number 1, product designer goes far and wide and affects every kind of product, whether physical or not physical. Number 2, a UI designer is called a user interface designer, while a UX designer is a user experience designer. Number 3, a product designer's job is to solve users' problems and help meet business needs. Number 4, design thinking is a non-linear iterative process used to provide solutions to users' problems. Number 5, as a designer, there are several tools out there, but for now, we'll just stick to Figma and we'll continue to grow it as we go on. I'm sure you've learned a couple of stuff today. Now, if you found this video insightful or helpful, Like this video and share with others, and subscribe to this channel by hitting the subscribe button below. Now, do you have any questions or any topic you want me to treat? Leave them for me in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.